Hello, my name is Josh. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I've recently been through a divorce. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about a concept that I discovered actually while I was trying to save my marriage. This is prior to the divorce. But this concept really helped me get through the divorce process as well. There's a wonderful website, or I should say YouTube site and a website called Marriage Helper. And I was really watching a lot of their videos. And one of the concepts that they pushed was a concept called P.I.E.S. And P.I.E.S is an acronym that stands for physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And they kind of break our lives into these 4 quadrants. Now, as a little extra, I know I've seen some people add social onto that, so it's P.I.E.S with 2 S as opposed to P.I.E.S with 1 S, but that's not what I did. So it was P.I.E.S as in physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And I found a real benefit as I was trying to kind of salvage my marriage and save my marriage in focusing on those areas for myself, trying to improve myself physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. As I was able to consider each one of those aspects of my life, I found that there were some areas that I was doing okay, that I was doing actually probably pretty well in. But then there were some areas where I was lacking. And I had to be really honest with myself and really start working on making those better. So, for example, I realized at the time I was really out of physical shape. So I needed to start exercising. I needed to start eating a little bit better. I needed to drop some fat off of my body. And I wasn't doing that because I was trying to make my ex-spouse happy. I was doing that because I just realized that my body was not in good shape and I needed to improve that. And so I was going to do that for myself. From an intellectual perspective, I was already reading books and I think listening to some pretty good podcasts. So I felt like I was doing okay there, although there was some areas of improvement. Maybe I could focus what I was reading a little bit more. Maybe I could make sure that when I was listening to podcasts, I was listening with a little bit more intent on how to improve my situation. But all in all, I felt like I was doing okay intellectually. Emotionally, there was a lot of work that was going on. I was in counseling. My spouse and I had been in counseling, and I was in counseling, trying to figure out how to deal with some situations. And I had a support group that I was going to that I felt from an emotional standpoint was really helpful. Helped me understand, and maybe this is more of a journey that guys go on, but I had to understand better my emotions, how to balance my emotions. I'd become really good at suppressing and neglecting my emotions, right? And so I had to learn how to really handle my emotions and how to balance them out and how to bring a sense of balance to my intellectual and emotional side and how to really work with that. And then on the spiritual side, overall, I felt I was pretty good. I definitely had some areas that I needed to improve, but I was actively in church and very active in my callings. I was praying. I was reading scriptures with my family and myself. I felt like I was doing a lot of things. There were some things that I could have done better. I think I talked in another video about how I was really struggling with the temple because of some feelings of shame and failure that I had. So that was an area that could be improved, but I would say all in all, I was doing okay spiritually. There was definitely areas to improve. So as I was improving all of these things, I actually found myself, and this is why I was starting to work through issues in my marriage, or hoping to work through issues in my marriage, I felt myself just overall starting to feel better. And I started thinking, frankly, I found a lot of the self-doubt that I had starting to dissipate. A lot of the negative self-talk starting to dissipate as I worked on my P.I.E.S. And I became more confident. Now, once my ex asked for the divorce, a lot of that came crashing down. But there's a benefit there in that I knew what had done it helped me already. So I knew what things I could go back to help me once now that I was in this divorce process. And it was also very helpful to me because I realized that I had been working on all these P.I.E.S for myself. I wasn't doing it to try to save my marriage. I wasn't doing it, there wasn't an ulterior motive. My motive was pure. It was, these are the things that I have to do to be healthy for myself. And regardless if this marriage works out or not, I need to be healthy. And that, thankfully, like P.I.E.S really helped me see that in a much healthier light. The importance of my own health, regardless of what life threw at me. I needed to be ready to handle that thing. Ultimately, that was divorce. And although I'd hoped not to have that, all of those P.I.E.S, those tools and things that I learned working on my P.I.E.S helped me get through it. Now, to be fair, it didn't make the divorce not painful or anything of that nature. It just let me have a bag of tools to use already. Now, I had to improve on those tools, and I had to continue to grow with tools and add new tools in there as I was going through the divorce process. But I loved that idea, just the general concept of P.I.E.S, that I knew I had physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual items that I needed to be aware of. And I needed to be assessing myself and being honest with myself in how I was doing in those. Because if I was slacking in any of them, or if, sometimes we all have our weaknesses. And so if there's an area that I had a weakness, I really needed to focus on that area. But I really couldn't drop the ball on any of the others as well, which is tough. But I knew where I needed to focus a little bit. And then in the end, I feel that is all aided in my healing process. Many of my P.I.E.S, the things that I do for my P.I.E.S, are part of my self-care routine. So that's where they kind of got implemented, was self-care. But even then, there's times where if I'm, kind of just doing a self-assessment and seeing where I'm at, I realize that, oh, I'm slacking in this area. Maybe it's, oh, you know what? I've kind of let it go. I've got to make a goal to attend the temple in the next week, just because I just need that right now. So that's not necessarily part of my self-care routine, but I'll notice that I'm slacking in this area. I need to do something right now to kind of pick this up. And a lot of that is just part of the ups and downs of divorce and the troubles that come with divorce and then children and everything else that comes in life. So I'll put a link to the Marriage Helper page down below on my YouTube channel, and they go through and they'll describe a lot more about P.I.E.S better than I can. But I encourage everyone to kind of consider their life in that realm: physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Assess ourselves, and that is such a great healing tool when we're trying to get through the divorce recovery process. Anyways, my name's Josh. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This channel is not endorsed by the church. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I've just been through divorce, learned some lessons, and hope that they can help you along the way. Thanks for coming to my channel.